Hello and welcome to Anfield Aftermath with myself, Craig, James and Jake. It is the day after the Liverpool-Madrid match at Anfield, which unfortunately didn't go Liverpool's way. But we are here today to discuss the Aston Villa match, Madrid, and generally things that are going on, and I guess a look at the short remainder of the season. So I guess, do you want to jump straight into Madrid since it's fresh in our minds?
Yeah, I was just going to mention before we start anything, we're recording this today on the anniversary of the Hillsborough disaster. So I just wanted to mention that obviously our collective thoughts are with the 96 and anyone that was affected by those events. And of course, we stand in solidarity with them on seeking justice for what happened.
Indeed, very well said. Very well said. Very, very sad. I know one person who was at the game, and it every year it gets to him. So it's big deal, and hopefully things will be done.
Yep. So on to Liverpool then, I guess, and the happenings. Are we starting with Madrid?
Yeah, I'd say start Madrid.
Yeah. The Premier League does feel like a million years ago at this point. So Madrid, alright then, I'll start by mentioning the lineup that Klopp decided on, which two big talking points on that were, one, Thiago was left out, and two, Jota was also left out. So initially, for me, when I seen it, it was the wrong decision. I felt like what was their midfield of Gini, Milner,
Fabinho,
and Fabinho didn't feel like a midfield that was going to get the job done in terms of crack on, get out there, get an early goal, which is definitely what we needed. It felt a little bit more like a subdued defence. I will say, in retrospect, I feel like he probably got it right. I feel like Milner was on there with the tasked with the job of keeping Luka Modric quiet, which he definitely did. If you look at how the game actually went, I think it was more of a case of like subdue their midfield, don't allow them any time on the ball. Just for anyone that is listening, Jake has left the podcast. Don't allow them any time on the ball, which they definitely did. They had a much more difficult time, Madrid, getting those balls over the top, which is where we suffered in the first leg. So yeah, I feel like in retrospect he probably got the decision right. Klopp is obviously a better football tactical genius than I am, so credit to him there.
I mean, he got it right somewhat.
So I mean, I feel like the midfield did the job that he expected them to do. So in terms of the forwards and leaving Jota out, again, I feel like with Jota's recent form and confidence in front of goal, I absolutely would have started him. Starting Mane, well, not starting Mane would also be a brave decision against Madrid in the Champions League quarter-final. So I don't know where I stand on that one, really. I do think Mane had a good game overall. And I can sort of see the thinking in that Jota was probably, the idea there was that you'd bring him on as an impact sub. If we'd got that early goal and we were looking for that winner later on, you could bring Jota on and maybe he'd get that. So I can see the thinking, but I was very surprised to see that there was no Jota.
Yeah, well, I had the same thoughts. I thought I was always starting Thiago and Jota, but I think looking back at it now, similar to what you said, I realised I think more so he was going to, because obviously I feel like if Madrid scored, it was effectively game over or near enough.
Yeah.
So I think maybe it was go for have a midfield that can really protect the back foot. Make sure to lock Madrid out and see if we can nick a goal or two. Keep them shut out while trying to get them. And I think they certainly did create plenty of chances in the first half. And I thought probably the plan was to always get Thiago and Jota on if they needed to, when they needed goals. But see if he can be defensive with the midfield and try to get away with it to see if he can get any goals.
Yeah, that's what my thought was as well. I thought it was going to be like all the front three was just going to be trying to get goals in. The rest of the team will just be like trying to play
hold the door.
Trying to keep them away from our goal by any means necessary.
Yeah, and again, seemed to work fairly effectively. I don't know whether it was a case of Madrid weren't interested in scoring, or whether it really did work. But
it looked like to me that they weren't interested.
I don't suppose they had to score, really. It felt like they turned it on in the last 15 minutes. But I felt like at that point they were like, all we've got to do here is score and it's done. So you could definitely tell that was happening. In terms of overall performance, I feel like it was the best we've seen Liverpool maybe all season. If we take out the fact that they couldn't finish any of the chances they created, they looked like they were back to themselves. The front three, I actually thought the worst performance was potentially Bobby, who, despite having a good run in the Premier League recently, and me saying, like, you know what, I'd definitely start Bobby and Jota maybe instead of Mane. So I'd go with the front three of Jota, Bobby, Salah. I felt like Bobby was the weakest link on the night. You could see the link up from midfield to the front three was there with Bobby. That definitely, like, if you compare that to the first leg against Madrid, it was a big difference. But Bobby actually on the night, a couple of stray balls, a couple of bad through balls. Like, I can remember specifically one that Trent was in on goal. If he'd have played that better, that was a chance there. So,
in terms of an attacker, I agree, but I think he was good. Like, if you put him or whoever, if you give his performance to a midfielder, it would have been a good performance. But he's an attacker, so it doesn't really matter anyway.
Yeah, Mane looked back to himself, to be honest, I thought.
Yeah.
Like...
Well, yeah. Not quite to the same level, I would say, but getting there.
I mean, certainly leagues ahead of where he's been recently.
The last match that they played against Madrid, he was leagues above that, absolutely.
Yeah, but I don't know, it's hard to, in regards to Salah, since we're going across all the front three, it's hard to criticise Salah because he's been so good this season. He's been so important this season. Like, I would say, out of the chances created, and there were a lot, in the first half we could have been comfortably ahead. We could have honestly had 4 goals in the first half.
Yeah.
We easily could have had the 2 that we needed.
There was Milner's shot, which was actually a really good save.
Yeah, it was.
So fair play, Courtois.
It was a really good shot as well, to be honest.
It was. There was the very early goal that could have been with Salah and Mane, like 2 minutes in.
Yep.
Again, just a good save from Courtois, although I think, realistically, Salah probably should have tried to go anywhere but...
The only thing I'll say about that one, because a lot of people have been saying, I've seen since, is like, oh, that was the easiest chance of the game. You should have put that away. But it came at him very fast. It was more of a rebound than a shot. And it was a trailing leg that saved it. It wasn't.
And it was also within 2 minutes. You're not expecting such a great chance to be coming that quickly.
Like, I agree that, like, if you give Salah that chance again, 9 times out of 10 he scores it.
He'll score it, yeah.
But it was like, it was a reactionary shot. It was a bit of a rebound. It wasn't exactly like, because I mean, if he'd have put it the other side of the goal, it was a goal all day. The keeper was never getting there. But he only just got there. It was a trailing leg. It wasn't like the most spectacular save in the world. It was kind of stuffy, to be honest, which is, you know, could sum up Madrid's whole performance on the night, really. But
lucky as well that he was that tall, because if he hadn't been that tall, probably would have went in.
I will say, I thought personally Ginny's chance was the best of the night.
Aside from that early one, yeah.
Yeah, well, even that early one, I feel like it sort of, again, it was more of a rebound. Like, it was unlucky.
It was, but I still feel like it was easier. It was, but I still feel like...
I mean, I feel like
that was easier.
Ginny had all the time in the world to place that shot. I mean, in comparison, right, there was Mo's third chance in the second half. He didn't have all the time in the world, but he took all the time in the world and made a mess of it. With Ginny's chance, I feel like he had all the time in the world and didn't take it and just put it into the bloody restricted view section of Annie Road. So, I don't know, but bit of a weird one. We're still on performance, Craig. Craig's returned. He also decided to lead the podcast. We're still just on the basic performance of the night, which I'm struggling to sum up because, again, I feel like amazing, except no one could finish any chances.
It was great, apart from, I mean, I think I saw something like out of something like Liverpool's last 120 shots at Anfield, they've scored 3 or something like that.
I think it was 100. I think it was 138 shots, to be honest.
That's crazy.
Oh.
And I'm just like, I don't know what happened.
And one of them was a penalty.
I don't know how they've become so unclinical. It's I mean, and it happens time and time again, to be honest with you, because against these teams that defend against Liverpool at Anfield, Liverpool still create chances in these games for most part. Yeah, they just don't take them.
They do the hardest part, and then it's the final piece that they struggle with, which is the easiest one. So weird. That's
why I question the decision to leave Jota, because if there's one player in Liverpool right now that isn't struggling for confidence in front of goal, it's Diogo Jota. So
indeed, if you give him a chance, I mean, I feel like if any of those chances in the first half fell to him, he probably would have scored, because he doesn't seem to have this strange mental block where
I feel like it was so evident on Salah's third chance in the second half. Maybe the first couple got to him. I know, like everyone, all the pundits, everyone was talking about the fact that he had the best chance of the game early on in the first 2 minutes, and if he'd have put that away, it'd have been a different game. Don't know what they were talking about in the dressing room, but probably that, I would imagine, was brought up. And I don't know.
I reckon with that one, because I remember watching it and thinking that the front three, because they were all quite congested within each other, weren't they, at that point? I think they all just got in each other's way at that stage. I think that's why it took so long, because he was like, not sure who's going to take it.
I just feel like usually Salah would maybe take one touch and then put it away, but like he took about 70 touches. It looked legitimately he took about 5 touches.
It looked like what his aim was, is he was gonna just try and like set it up for himself. So he took one touch to set it up. Then he saw one of the defenders coming at him, so he tried to roll it round them. So he tried to give himself a little bit of like a ball roll, and then he went to try and hit it, and it then took too long, and another defender got back and deflected it.
It was just a case of like, in his head, he was like, right, I've got another opportunity. I'm not messing this one up. I'm going to take my time. I'm going to place it. And then before he knew it, he'd run out of time and space.
Yeah. It's so strange, though.
Individual performances. Does anyone have anyone they want to highlight? Because I've got a few.
Yeah, I've got someone. Well, I've got a few, but yeah. Go on, Craig. You can start.
I was very pleased with Milner. Phil Milner put in a fantastic shift.
Fantastic shit?
Shift.
Oh.
Shift.
Sorry.
I think Jota did, by the way. I'll come on to that.
I think Jota did a shit.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think you Gary Lineker, right?
Oh, no.
Who else? I mean, I feel like it was overall a pretty good performance, to be honest with you. I don't think particularly anyone played badly. I mean, I would say if anyone, I didn't see as much as maybe Robbo as what I thought I might have. But
it's true, actually.
I think everyone's pretty. I think everyone played, and I couldn't question it was miles differently attitude the first half to the first half against Madrid. I thought people's attitude against Madrid for away was shocking, but I feel like everyone was actually all on board and all giving it a good go.
It felt a little bit like as soon as it kicked off, they looked like they were proper up for it. Like we came out all guns blazing. There was a little bit of like, this could actually happen. Yeah,
it would have actually happened if it had been more clinical in front of the goal.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
The scenes,
like, if Salah's chance would have gone in, imagine scoring 2 minutes in, like, it would have changed the game completely.
Yeah, absolutely. They would have been way less confident. We would have been way more confident. We would have only had to got one, and don't forget we still had more chances later on in the game. We would have been absolutely buzzing with confidence to put more in the back of the net.
Straight away the doubt would set in for Madrid,
Yeah.
I mean, it might have changed their game a little bit because, as we said before, it looked like they weren't really interested in scoring. Had they gone behind,
they might have gone
straight
more
off the bat, yeah, they might have. Which does one or two things. It either opens the game up for us even more, or they absolutely decimate Kabak and Phillips.
Well, one thing before it moves off the point entirely is I want to throw credit to some of the defenders actually, because
yes, me too.
They deserve it. So Nat, decent in the air as always, goes in for every single header, doesn't care who it's up against, he jumps for it, and most of the time he wins it. You need someone like that aerial threat, especially when they've got like a player like Toni Kroos who can do like a 40-yard pass in the air. He also wasn't afraid to like get forward a little bit. I remember there was a few times where he'd come out of position and go a bit far forward, which was scary at the time because I was like, all they need to do is break here. But that was good. Kabak as well got on a few sprinting challenges with I think it was Benzema or Asensio, and won it most of the time. But he also set up, I think he was the one that set up that early chance, with Mane. I think he like cross-fielded it to Mane, which again we've missed since Virgil's been out. Just the long balls from the fence.
Yeah, there were some worrying moments from Kabak, to be fair. I'm sure Benzema's first chance was due to a Phillips mistake, but other than that, I felt like he was pretty solid. Kabak, though, I can remember specifically giving the ball away a couple of times. Yeah,
there was a few dodgy clearances, but I mean, with the defenders we've got, the things we've missed are the pace, obviously because we play the high line a lot, and the like 40-yard passes when we can't break down a defence from midfield or the attacking force. And we've got the best we can do right now of the equivalent. So Kabak seems to be getting confident with the long passes, and he's also quite quick. And the aerial threat, which Nat is, at least for winning headers anyway, in a defensive setup. Also, Trent did fairly well. I'll give him credit for. He didn't let the events from last, because I don't know if you remember, him and Vinicius got into a bit of a scrap, a light scrap, but a scrap, and he let him get in his head for that first game, and he seems calm and completely ignorant of it this game.
I actually thought, had we won, I would have given Trent my man of the match. I thought he was amazing. I thought it might have been the best defensive performance from Trent I've seen in recent time.
Yeah, the one thing I will say in opposition of that is towards the end, but this wasn't just him, this was everyone. Towards the end, when we struggled to break them down, they just went back to pinging in crosses every time, which doesn't work. But that's if I'm being really cynical. That's the only thing I can point out which wouldn't have worked, or which wasn't good. Sorry.
I feel like, I mean, again, going backwards, he was phenomenal. Like better than I think we've seen him in a long time. He proved to me that he can do it, which makes me also question why he doesn't do it most of the time. Because he wasn't even playing a defensive game. He was getting forwards as well. Like say he had, or would have had that chance if Bobby had put the ball through properly. And yeah, he was pinging crosses in that weren't really working out, but also that's his job in this Liverpool side. So I can't really fault him for that. And some of them were brilliant as well. Some of them like people just weren't getting on the end of or whatever. But yeah, I thought he had an amazing game, to be honest, which was nice to see because he's one of the players that have been struggling this season.
Especially with all the criticism he gets as well. He gets way more criticism than some of the other players.
I think maybe it was the event as well. Like I feel like Trent, being a Scouser,
knew the importance
and also just like was well up for it. Like if any of them are up for it, it's probably going to be him, and he's proved it. But I feel like that also comes with a bit of criticism of like, if you can do that, then do that every week. You know. But yeah, solid from him. The other one I wanted to mention was Ginny. Despite the chance that he missed, he had an amazing game as well. In midfield, he was phenomenal. Controlled the game. Like again, I feel like we've not seen from him for a while because I've been pretty critical of him. But it also highlights the fact that he's going to be a big miss when he goes, and he's probably going. I mean, it's not a done deal yet, but it probably is.
It's likely.
Yeah.
The thing about Ginny as well is usually goes so, because you don't really. It's not like it is a world class performance, but it's not. It's not like it doesn't stick out his performances because nothing comes from them usually. It's not like an assist or a goal or a clean sheet from it. It kind of the same with Fabinho, but like you notice it when they're not there, when they perform like that. So it's, I mean, I think like so many other on the team, Ginny's one of the ones that are underrated for what they do when they're like that anyway.
Yeah, he's certainly going to be a miss.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's also been one of the, I think, I don't know if anyone else has not been injured this season, but
has Robbo been injured?
No, it's only him and Robbo are the only ones that have been consistent.
I think Robbo might have missed a game for Scotland, but we got away with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like that energy or that drive and that consistency in midfield is going to be a difficult one to replace. I mean, like I'm sure Klopp has gone to the owners, and I mean, it's who knows what conversations go on behind the scenes. But I'd be like, guys, just offer him the contract he wants. He's worth. Worth keeping.
It depends what he's at, like how much he's after, because it's I think
$1 million a week.
We all I think we all know it's a money situation. He doesn't feel like for him it's the money situation, but it's also the longevity of it. Like we're not in a position where we want to offer a 30-year-old midfielder an extended contract for a long amount of time, but we've got a good example as to why that can work. Like James Milner is like 35 now, and he's a bloody machine. Like, and if anyone's gonna be the next James Milner, it's probably Ginny, in my opinion. Like he's literally, we call James Milner Mr. Reliable, and Ginny's been reliable all season so far.
He's been injured more reliable than Milner.
Yeah, actually, funnily enough, yeah.
So yeah, that's it's certainly something, and I don't know what to do about Wijnaldum, but I mean, they found him. I'm sure they can replace him. Kind of find someone immediately to come in and do that role. I'm a bit dubious, so we'll see.
I think you'd have to get someone who does the exact same role for a different team. Otherwise, it's going to be a long course on how to do that role.
I mean, you have two choices, don't you? You either get a like-for-like replacement, or you change the way we play and get someone totally different.
Which I guess will be the deciding factor as to whether or not Klopp is on the level of, these other world-class managers, because one criticism I always read about him is he doesn't know how to rebuild a team. But I guess we'll see that, because he's still got 4 years left with Liverpool, and it's about the time when we might need a rebuild. So who knows?
I think we might have a podcast where we might have a discussion where we have a full-on rebuild.
Yeah, that is definitely due.
Well, big question mark, full-on rebuild, question mark, maybe.
Basically, we'll just do a podcast one time where we talk about what we'd change individually about LFC.
Yeah, that is upcoming.
So stay tuned for that episode.
Yeah, I said the Madrid game. It's sad really, because I feel like it's annoying. I think they performed really, really well, and they certainly did enough to have won that 2-0. And it's just unfortunately that they've been so bad at putting the chances away this year.
Yeah,
and
it's weird. Do you think a full Anfield would have changed anything?
Yes, I do. Strangely enough, I do. Especially because the Kop is notorious, and it's a weird analogy, but they always say the Kop try and suck the ball into the goal, and I feel like that doesn't come from nowhere.
To be fair, I think if we even went back to, was it the sort of time before Christmas with 3,000? I think if there's 3,000 in the Kop, it would have been enough to spur them on to take the chances.
Yeah.
Apparently, they asked to turn the music up to create some sort of atmosphere, the LFC players, which a lot of people are now laughing at to say it's like an excuse, but I mean, it's a genuine thing.
I'm surprised they don't pump in crowd noise.
You would think by this stage you could do something like that, wouldn't you?
I mean, they definitely can, but they just don't.
Just get some volunteers on Twitch to watch the game live and just put their audio at full blast.
Yeah. But genuinely, like, because they obviously, like, if you watch it, you always get the two choices on TV, whether you want to watch it with the added artificial noise or without. But in the artificial noise, they play all the songs, like the crowd chants and everything. Why don't they just pump that, like, over the tannoy into the stadium? It's better than nothing. So it must be, like, so weird for them.
I guess it's just because they didn't set that up originally, so they're not bothering setting it up now, because players are just getting on with it.
But are there rules against it? Or, like, say if Liverpool decided we're just going to pump in Liverpool chants all night tonight, like, can they not do that? Or I don't know what the rules are.
I just would have thought so. I wouldn't imagine there'd be like a ban on it, but I just think
it'd be that extra edge. Because I imagine as well, if your career is playing football, which it is for them obviously, and they've been doing it all their lives, they're so used to the feel of like that match day feel, and they're also used to that like training ground feel. And right now, games must feel like they're on the training ground, like just the dead atmosphere, and you can hear each other shouting, and you can hear the ball as it like slams against whatever. Like, I just feel like, you know, in Ginny's case, that would be the Annie Road stand. But I just feel like it must be mad for them.
It must get so annoying as well, because like, you probably, like, the only benefit is you can hear like commands more from like your team. So like when we've heard it in past games, when Jordan Henderson's screaming at everyone, giving the motivation, like that's the only benefit. But
I'm sure they can hear that anyway. Like, we can hear it now with no sound, but I'm sure on the pitch they can hear that anyway. So
I don't know. I'd imagine it. I mean, they might, but I imagine it'll still be difficult for them to hear it all the time.
Like I say, even if they weren't allowed, they could get away with it. Like, do you know how like you give in Anfield, they'd be like, "Can John Smith from seat 4377A please report to desk?" I just get on the telephone. Can Mohamed Salah? Yes, that's Mohamed Salah. Please run down the wing. That is Mo Salah, the Egyptian king.
Please run down the wing.
What an announcement that would be.
Can Sadio Mane please score a goal? Thank you.
There was a fair few people in there, to be fair. I don't know who they got in or how they got away with it. Like, I don't know if it was just get all the LFC staff we have on payroll and get them in. They're working tonight.
Sort of atmosphere.
But they had a fair few people in.
Get those
Virgil van Dijk and Jordan Henderson, which they didn't show on TV, but they were there. I don't know if they had the Never Give Up shirts on, but they were there.
Salah should have won us.
Flipping the dinner ladies that used to be at Melwood, they used to see on like promotional videos and stuff of behind the scenes.
They were probably there.
They probably were. Do you know what? The funny thing would be, you've just said then, imagine Mo Salah wearing his Never Give Up shirt. How cool would it have been if he'd scored 2 goals and then he lifted up his shirt in celebration? It was the Never Give Up shirt underneath.
We'll never know. Maybe it was there.
Maybe it was there.
Because he didn't score 2 goals.
Sadly.
So obviously
Villa
Madrid was 0-0. We are out the Champions League now, so focus has to go back onto the Premier League.
Which
the
is
most recent
still
Premier
possible.
League game was broke the trend of this year at Anfield.
Hopefully the curse is broken now. Who would have thought this time last year that we'd be talking about this?
Well, it's ended the 6-game losing streak at home, so that is now officially a statistic. No, it is officially a statistic. There's not enough games left, is there? It is officially a statistic. It can't hurt us anymore.
No.
We're safe. We're not going to get any worse than that, at least, this season. But yeah, any thoughts on how it went?
I mean, it seemed to be, from what I remember, it seemed to be like a repeat of just... I mean, obviously not a repeat because this was before Madrid, but it's the same story with Madrid. We got a lot of chances, we just couldn't finish them.
Yeah, especially in the first half. Felt at the end of that first half as well, because they obviously scored in the first half. Mm-hmm. In fact, also, what is up with Liverpool not being able to score in the first half anymore? Like, what has gone on there?
So, Liverpool not being able to score.
But
I mean, yeah. But it did feel like it was going to be another one of them. Like, at this point,
chance after chance, but none to show for it.
You start thinking, oh, here we go again. And the thing is, if we're thinking that, they're thinking that. You know what I mean? When they have like 2 or 3 chances and they don't go in, immediately they're all gonna go, oh, here we go again. Yeah, and especially if the opposition put one away in that time as well, it's even worse. So. And
then when you do get a saving grace and you do get some salvation, boom, VAR.
Oh yeah, flipping VAR. Forgot about that. What a talking point that's gonna be.
I hate VAR.
I don't even hate. Do you know what? I don't even hate VAR. I hate the people that operate it. It's so like. First off, I mean, unless you just want it to, I don't want us to go into a proper VAR debate. But it's not even meant to be brought in at the most like clinical of times. But it seems to be involved in every single decision ever in football now, which I don't think it was advertised to have been. Also,
no, I think it's supposed to cut out clear and obvious errors.
Yeah. And, like, that it wasn't a clear and obvious error.
I mean, nothing is anymore. I don't understand the rules anymore.
It's
like,
just...
Is clear and obvious even a rule anymore? Because clearly not. Like,
well, specifically talking about this offside, right? So, Jota's sleeve basically was offside, which counts as a goal-scoring part, as a...
But it wasn't. It was his elbow.
In their opinion, from the lines they drew, it was offside.
It was his elbow, right? Wasn't it? Like
it was in line with his elbow because of the motion he had running. It was in line with his elbow.
Like I say, it's like I've sat with this paused. I've looked at still images, and every single time I look at it and go like,
yeah. I mean, it's not.
He's onside compared to their defender.
Two things.
Every time I've looked at it, I'm like. Yes, 99 people out of 100 would look at that and go, he's onside.
Yeah. Yep. Well, 2 things that are weird about it is when you get the image and do like a perfect square from the edge of the pixel from their defender's foot down to the pixel on Jota's sleeve, the red line is slanted. At least from the images I've seen, I don't know if they're doctored or not, but I guess that's because the camera angle they see it at is slightly inverted and they're just trying to make up for it, but it looks ridiculous.
So much.
Secondly, I don't know if you remember. Do you remember the Leicester game when Leicester got a goal because Bobby's foot or something was onside?
Well, it was a shadow.
Yeah,
it was shadow.
It was a shadow. But their sleeve, they went from the back, from the underneath, which was further back on the body. Use that to draw the line. In that game against Aston Villa, they went from the front of the sleeve, which was further forward.
They pick and choose. They will draw the line from whatever suits their argument.
There's no clear way of how to operate VAR, and that seems to be the most ridiculous thing ever.
It's different rules for different people, or whether they don't have a set rule, or some of them just want to make headlines, whether they just have a vendetta against Liverpool, whether they have to justify their salary for being paid to be sat in the VAR box. Okay, right, guys, it's gone to us now. We're gonna have to make it look like we're doing a job here, and like we're ruling out, we're helping decisions here. So let's make this look like it was offside. And it's just
I think personally there is no clear cut way to decide how to use VAR, because I don't know if you saw. I think it was West Brom versus Southampton, maybe, where West Brom got a goal from a free kick and it was given offside, but they'd marked the line with the wrong player, and the reason they did that was because they said they didn't have a clear view of the player, of the actual player, so they had to just do a best guess. I mean, first off, how are you not? You should be. I don't know how many angles they get of the game, but if you haven't got one clear view of, the goal, the opposition goal, you need to sort that out. Secondly, why are you then intervening and ruling it out if you can't make out a decision? You send the ref over to the monitor and he makes the decision. It just seems like there's no clear-cut way on how to use VAR, and it's just up to the person's preference. It's just like, I'll use it this way today. It's just so bizarre.
The clear and obvious thing is out the window.
Yeah.
Because...
that was... no way.
That example you just given, if they're literally saying, it wasn't clear, so we just sort of slapped it here, hope for the best. Like, well, if it wasn't clear, then don't like, why are you even making a decision? Yeah. It wasn't clear or obvious. So your job is null and void. You don't need to be here.
Go home.
It's
the same with Jota. Like when his sleeve is offside, then the referee hasn't made a clear or obvious error, has he? Because he can't be expected to see when someone's sleeve is on or offside. So it's not clear or obvious.
Linesman. Nor can the linesman.
It's also so baffling because, like, how can you base it off a piece of, like, a shirt? Like, some people's shirts, it's like, there's movement in shirts. Yeah. People's sleeves are loose.
You can just pull your sleeve up and then you're fine. You're perfectly fine at that point.
Just take your shirt
next season, Liverpool tank tops.
Yeah, everyone will go out in a vest. It'll be a Liverpool kit vest next season.
That'd be a great, like, do you know how, like, they wear, like, the armbands to support, like, whatever the cause is on the day? Like, imagine that was their stance against VAR. It's like they just don't have sleeves.
No,
Liverpool
for the record, I want
to
say I am for VAR, but it needs to change how it's used. It needs to change how it's used entirely. There needs to be a clear-cut set of rules. There needs to be mic'd up refs and mic'd up VAR in Stockley Park, wherever it is, telling us the decisions.
Yeah, I'd definitely mic them up and hold them responsible for their decisions.
Yeah,
and I would also
announce it to the cameras as well.
I would also announce the rules at the start of the season, and you're not allowed to change them mid-season. And that includes the handball rule, which changes like every 2 weeks. Just keep that consistent. Pick a rule and then leave it alone until the end of the season. Have everyone
agree on it.
Yeah.
It does seem baffling because, like, Liverpool was founded in, oh god, I'm going to get this wrong. Was it 1892, 1896, something like that?
I wish I had the badge.
I think 1892. I think.
But either way, football's been going on for a hell of a long time. How have you not agreed on the rules yet?
I'm
just surely you can settle on what the rules are.
I think personally it's because this new technology is being implemented and they're having to determine new rules to support the technology being there. But at the same time, it's like, well, like, VAR was brought in to stop controversial goals, and so far it's caused more than it's stopped.
It's took.
If it's taking more goals away than it's allowing, then it's a problem. Because it's ruining the game. Like, I remember saying, when Jota's goal was disallowed, I was like, I might not watch anymore. Like, if we lose this game, I might just stop watching. Not because I'm tired of watching Liverpool lose, but I'm just tired of watching football. Like, it's not fun anymore. Like, without the fans, it's already bad enough. But when you add on top the fact that every time we score a goal, it's like, VAR check. And then you have to sit there, and then, lo and behold, it's always offside. Like, they'll get your shadow if they don't have your shadow offside. Like, what are we meant to do? Control the sun now? Like, move the angle of the sun so that people's shadows are onside. It's mental. Just sort it out. It's chaos.
I mean, like, one thing we'll say to try and be in favour of it is fairly new system, and you can't expect a system to be implemented.
It's not that new anymore, though.
How old is it?
And good few years, because how long has it been in the Premier League now? Maybe 2 or 3 years?
That's what I mean. How long has it been in the Premier League? How new is it for the Premier League?
I think 2 or 3 years. But it was in the Champions League before that even, and the Champions League generally use it better than the Premier League as well. I feel like whatever they do, just get their rules and get on with it, because I'm sick of it.
Everything seems to be better in the Champions League for some reason. Like, when you compare, I mean, everyone always says, there's loads of football pages that I follow have said this. Even just the referees in the Champions League are way better than English referees.
I think they're more impartial because obviously they're always from somewhere else in Europe.
Yeah, but even in games where they're not involved, like there was an English referee, I think for, I think it might have been PSG versus Bayern first leg. And they ruled Mbappe offside for something, and everyone was fuming about it. And then it turned out to be an English referee, and everyone was like, "Oh, no wonder, they're shit." So maybe we just have the worst referees in the world.
I mean, we definitely have some sus referees.
Yeah, definitely. Coot. No, you're watching.
So I'd say, I know we've gone straight to the instant. Say for Aston Villa's goal, do you think Alisson should have done better? Because I do.
Yeah, I actually think. Yeah, I think Alisson's been a bit of a worry for a minute, to be honest. I mean, he's still amazing, and actually, if you look at his stats, he is still.
Also, that double save he pulled off against Madrid was bloody great.
Yeah, no, he is still amazing. It's just
he has had a few question marks of late. A few, like that goal, I feel like he should do better.
That goal, and even in the first leg of Madrid, his second goal.
He should be better than that.
But at the same time, is he suffering a lack of confidence because he's now got Kabak and Phillips in front of him, as opposed to Joe Gomez and Van Dijk?
Yeah, I just think we're missing so much. Like, he doesn't. I mean, maybe again, like we can hear what everyone's saying now because of there being no crowd, and I generally don't ever hear Alisson saying anything. But he used to always be commanding. Like when Virgil was there, Alisson and Van Dijk were constantly talking and commanding each other and their defensive line, and I just don't hear, like, obviously Van Dijk's not playing, but I don't hear Alisson talking anymore. I don't know if he's just like.
Is that just because the other two aren't commanding though?
I mean, maybe, but like, I just think it's like everyone's just like lost their head a bit. I don't know. Yeah. It's just a mad season. I just can't wait.
To be honest, I understand it. I can't say I forgive it, but I understand it. It probably would send me a bit south if most of the team ended up getting like.
It feels like no one is where they want to be.
No.
Anymore. Like everyone's probably looking at the situation.
Can't wait
and
to
just
finish
being
the
like,
season.
what has happened here?
Yeah.
And I get
How
it.
has this happened?
Because we're like that as well. Especially Thiago. I can't imagine what he thinks. Leaving Bayern Munich.
Do you know what? He seems to be one of the most optimistic of us all. Do you follow him on Instagram?
He's just signed the contract. He's like, bloody hell, guys.
Have you seen him on Instagram? He loves it. We're all like death, destruction, despair, and he's like, hey, but look, I can do some sick tricks.
To be fair, by sort of a technicality of when the fixtures fell, we were in Champions League longer than Bayern Munich were.
True. In fact, that was one of the things the commentator said during the matches. Thiago was the last reigning UCL champion in the Champions League this year because Bayern got knocked out the night before.
Very true, very true. I mean, can't argue. It's correct.
Thiago lasted longer. Well,
due to look forward to seeing that in a Liverpool advert for like Lucozade or something ridiculous next year. With Lucozade, Thiago can last longer.
Has anyone
seen he did in the Champions League?
Has anyone seen that new Salah?
Yeah,
advert?
The weird one where he's sitting with the guy and he's just like. It's so weird to see them doing adverts because I haven't.
It's well good though. I love the fact
so
that
cool.
like
it brings like a level of like relativity to them.
Henderson calls him.
He's just like, what's
and the guy's just talking to him in Arabic, and Henderson's just like, what are you talking about?
Doesn't he get who else does he get on the phone as
Ox.
well? It's Ox, yeah. Mo, do you know this guy?
It's great. But anyway, Aston Villa.
The goal, first goal.
To answer your question, yes.
Not Villa's goal.
He should have done more for that. In my opinion.
So I'm trying to think. I can remember Salah tapping in the second goal, but I'm not quite sure how it came about.
Robbo ran up. I think it was Robbo.
I say second goal because I'm absolutely counting the first goal because it was ridiculous. But
the actual first goal. The actual
first goal, as the history books will say.
Robbo ran up the left. It was either Robbo or Mane was run up the left. They took a shot. Martinez blocked it. I think he was by this point. I can't remember. And then he pushed it away and it fell to Salah, who just basically like tapped it in. Didn't he beat someone to get there though?
Mings,
Tyrone Mings.
Yeah, it was Mings. Yeah, I think Yeah,
I think he beat him in a foot race.
I think he headed it in, wasn't it? It was a sort of like at the far post.
I think it was like
close. He sort of like threw himself at it to make sure.
He just guided it in with his body, essentially.
But it was, wow, what a moment that was. A goal.
I mean, do you know what? It's probably underrated because it probably wasn't a very attractive goal, but it shows the importance of still going for it even when it looks bleak. Because it was all the luck in the world that fell to him, but he was there to then guide it in.
To be fair, it didn't fall to him. That's the thing. He had to get there still.
That's what I mean. He had to still
a lot
try
of people,
when it didn't look like nothing was going to happen from it.
Who wouldn't have tried. Certainly in that game, anyway. Mane particularly, I thought his performance was madness.
I mean, it's quite funny. Can either of you recall any recent games against Villa in recent years being 1-0 down and then late on? I'm trying to think of the order. Was it Mane got a goal back? Oh no, it was Robbo got a goal back at like the 87th minute, and then Mane scored the winner.
Yeah.
Well, he sort of like off the top of head, I think Mane sort of like half crouched down. It sort of like bundled off his head and into the goal or something like that. I think.
The thing is,
in like the 93rd minute, but
I feel like back then, you always believed that Liverpool.
That was the never give up attitude.
Yeah, like Liverpool comeback wins for Liverpool was like a standard. Like if they conceded, it was like it's all right. It's Liverpool, which we've absolutely lost this season. Like if we concede the goal first this season, it's like here we go.
I feel like at 1-0 down and after that goal was disallowed, I think everyone thought
this is it.
It's happened again.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I did. They scored a goal and I was like, that's it. We've fucked our chances and that's it now.
And then Salah got one back, and to be fair, at that point, I'd say, I mean, when he got that back, I believed that they were going to see it. I believe that they're going to see it. If they get one, I think that spurs them on. I feel like the mentality is it's so fragile. It's like they'll go in, if they concede, it's a big head drop.
Game
but
over.
If they get one, they can get going. I mean, granted, they were cutting it close, but I mean,
yeah, I think that exists for a certain amount of time, though. I think it will die if they don't score soon within that first goal. It decreases over time and it looks less likely. Like if they score one, you've got about 10-20 minutes before the heads drop again. Yeah.
Yep.
So obviously, our boy Trent got the winner. Was that in injury time?
Yes.
90
plus 2, I believe.
Injury time winner, comeback performance from Liverpool. Unbelievable.
I'll say, I mean, granted, I feel like from memory, from seeing it, it was one hell of a passage of play from Liverpool in the build up to it, though.
Yep.
Oh my god, it was ridiculous.
Was it? It was over to the left, over to the right. It was zipping around. Thiago almost pulled off some sort of like ninja flick to score in the build up to it.
I'm gutted that didn't go in.
I'm gutted it didn't go in because that was what play that was between him and Shaqiri. That was phenomenal, and just fair play to their keeper. That was a great save.
Then it fell to Trent, and I don't know if either of you saw the image of
the angle,
the freeze frame of Trent's view.
Yeah,
like I saw that and I was like, what? How did he? What?
Something on a nothing thing.
He just bends it, and Mings seems to run away and creates the space.
Like, I saw that, and my head, like, immediately went to, like, the Matrix, here's the one. Where it's like, how on earth did he see the path?
Did anyone see the shot of Robbo? Like, when it goes in, like, Robbo's celebrating.
He's like crouched and he's just sticking his arm. He's done that so many times. There's been so many pictures where he's done the exact same celebration, but it's great.
My favourite Robbo image, though, I think, was in the training where he gets like a little cheeky grin on his face, and someone realises he's taking a photo. Like, I'm gonna do it right now. I want to see it, but he's sort of like this.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure you must know that one, but yeah. I mean, there's many funny photos of Robbo. So
I was gonna try and describe that face for the podcast listeners, but I don't even think I can give it a go.
On that Trent goal then. Well, first of all, what do you reckon it means for him and his chances, and including the Madrid performance that we've just seen as well, his chances at getting back in the England squad?
I don't think he did that much wrong to go out the England squad.
No,
I mean, he wasn't brilliant, but I mean, still.
He was having a poor season, but when you look at the stats, it's like I remember sharing it to you guys. He had, I think, the same stats as Reece James, but with like 2 less games or more games or something, which was like 7 clean sheets. I think 1 or 2 goals or something, 3 assists. But then he had like 30 odd chances, whereas Reece James had like 10 or something like that.
Really depends. I mean, I think from what I saw regarding the England squad, I think the season is done by the time it gets announced. I think Southgate can announce it earlier and is expected to announce it earlier than the deadline. But I think the Premier League season will be done by the time it's called, I believe.
Speaking about his those performances boosted him to get back in the England squad, I don't know if you heard it during the game for Aston Villa, but Gareth Southgate was there to watch both Ollie Watkins and Tyrone Mings. Not even Trent. And then Trent scored the late winner.
Are you not entertained, Southgate?
Yeah.
Oh, Trenty boy. I mean, I feel like on paper right now, if you ask me, he is in the squad.
Yeah, I would say so.
But much like the Premier League table, a lot can change between now and the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously not the most defensive right back in the Premier League, but he's certainly the most offensive. And depending on who you're up against, that certainly helps.
I know. I'm gonna say, do you want to pick a man of the match and have a quick look ahead? I mean,
I can barely remember.
I can't really remember.
I mean, in my head, I think I put it on my phone. It was Trenty boy.
Fair.
For Aston Villa.
Yeah.
I think he
Madrid,
was the actual man of the match for Aston Villa, but I remember saying, because I think he was the actual one. I remember saying I don't think he deserved it, but I'm fine with it because I understand why they picked him.
I'll give it to Mo.
I think I'll give it to either Mo or a weird odd call of Shaqiri. I know he wasn't on long, but you watch his performance when he came on in such a short time, and he changed things around.
He's been decent when brought on Shaqiri. He's been a solid.
He did have a solid impact.
For Madrid.
Right. Oh, Madrid.
I'll say
if I had to pick one for Madrid, I already said earlier it would be Trent, so I'll just get mine out the way and say Trent.
I'll say Trent for Madrid. I think he did really well.
I'll go James Milkip for Madrid.
Also a good shot.
James Milner. What a shot from James Milner. Phenomenal stuff.
Indeed. Such a shame. Speaking of James Milner, our next game might be a decent game for him. It is Monday the 19th of April at Leeds away. Leeds have been pretty decent recently.
Yep, beat City.
They're a very plucky team. They don't hold anything back. They are they are one of the league's great entertainers, Leeds.
They beat City. Did that ruin their run? The City unbeaten run? Were they the ones that ended that?
What, sorry?
They beat City recently. Did that end their unbeaten run? Was that Leeds that ended their unbeaten run?
No,
City?
I think United ended their unbeaten run, but I don't know whether that was at Old Trafford or the Etihad. So I don't know about that. I'll find out now. Ooh. Crikey, when was this? I can't even flip and find the match. It would also help if I wasn't looking at Leeds' results. Bear with. Either way, Leeds have just come off the back of a unbelievable 10-man win at the Etihad against Man City, so certainly going to be up against it. Worrying. It's going to be a tough game. They will play to attack though, so if we can take advantage. Man United beat Man City 2-0 on the 7th of March at the Etihad, so that would have ended it. The thing is, hopefully, granted, Leeds pulled that off and they had absolutely nothing to play for, but then again, for the most part, I mean, City are just by the numbers now. They just need to pick up a couple of wins and they'll be home and dry.
I feel like City don't have much to play for at this point.
I mean, really. City need to collapse for United to have any chance. But I mean, Leeds really don't have much to play for. Granted, if Europa League spots go to 7th, they are 4 points off 7th right now. But also 3 places off it. So I mean, I'd hope Leeds are at the stage where it's like, I mean, they certainly are going to go for it, but can they just not?
Yeah. I mean, can you just not? I mean, we've got. I mean, it's literally our whole season now, so I would hope that we will just absolutely go for it.
Go to win. Have to win.
It's
close. It's close. Yeah. Need to keep winning. I mean, nothing short of a win.
And with the likes of Chelsea not only having the fixtures they have coming up, going up against some of our other rivals, but also still being in the UCL, it's a good opportunity.
Personally, I think I can see Leicester bottling it. They've got some really tough fixtures coming up. I think Leicester is our route back into the top 4. Personally. We are obviously very close to Chelsea as well. It's definitely possible, but I think Leicester may well be our route back in. We have to just take care of ourselves, though. Like, if we just win the games in front of us, I believe the spaces will open up. But I think the rest of the top 4 will take care of themselves, and we will find our way in there. But we just have to start winning games.
I know United away isn't mixed. I will say this: if Liverpool win all of their remaining games, big ask. But if they do, I think they will finish in the top 4. Do I think they will win all the remaining games? No, but I hope they do.
They certainly have the most favourable fixtures out of the rest of the top 4. So I think it is well within the realms of possibility. We've got nothing else to play for, so you just got to hope that they go out there and they do it and they get the job done.
And hopefully, with the fact that there's no other quote-unquote distractions, you'd hope that would spare the players on enough, because as you've mentioned in our group chat before, Mo Salah doesn't want to be playing in Europa League or outside of Europe.
No, I'm not worried about it. I read an article this morning, and I mean, I don't know where this came from, actually, so I'll say potentially Mo said he has no plans to move away from Anfield this coming summer. But there are worries that maybe Liverpool might want to cash in on him, being in the position that they're in and the amount of money that he is worth. But there are no plans from Mo himself to move away from Anfield. So
if that's the case, and someone from LFC is listening, do not cash in on him. Despite our poor season, he's still in the race for the Golden Boot. And that's when the entire team has been shocking.
Do not want to lose Mo Salah. For anyone.
He's been the only, as we've referred to him so many times. Yeah, we've referred to him so many times.
And I'm not saying I want to stop him, but I would rather lose Bobby and Mane to get Mbappe than Mo Salah.
Yeah, I think I agree with you on that statement. So many times we've referred to him on this now as the light in the darkness. Him and Jota have both consistently been the light in the darkness for us for a good few weeks.
Jota is the battery. Mo is the light in the darkness, and when it's looking a little bit dim, you plug Jota in and we're off.
Yeah. That's a good analogy.
What is Jota, a power bank?
Yeah.
What was I going to say? So next week, I don't know when you would next want to, when our viewers are blessed with our voices again. Liverpool next week, they play Monday and Saturday. Saturday is early kickoff against Newcastle. I did that noise because early kickoff is always a shocker.
Klopp loves early kickoff. He's famous for being a big fan.
That was Aston Villa was an early kickoff.
True.
So well, so would it be?
Well,
we go next Sunday.
We should probably clarify that from now, some of these will be live. We'll be doing these live on Twitch, so go and follow us, one on twitch.tv @RealFishStakes, but also follow us on all of our social media posts, links in the description. And if you're on if you listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts, look around for a link tree. Go follow us on all of them to find out which ones and when.
And who and why?
Yeah.
How?
I mean, who will probably just be us three again?
It's us three. It's definitely going to be us three.
There might be a possibility of Sam
match.
every so often, but...
Well, no, we're going to get Graham on 1 week. Next derby, Graham's coming on.
Okay. I mean, I'm fine with that.
Every time, I told him off for every time Liverpool lose, I get a little WhatsApp. I saw some football results today. And I'm like, great, here we go. Didn't get one after Aston Villa. Got one after Madrid. Of course. But anyway, I was going to say, because if I'm going to throw it out there. Leeds going to win 3-2. And if we don't hear from us until post Newcastle, I think Newcastle. I think it's going to be biblical. I feel like I'm gonna go utterly mental and feel like Newcastle may get a goal and Liverpool are going to win 5-1.
Interesting. Just for the listeners, I was holding my fingers up there for all four of them because I think Newcastle 4-0. Leeds, I'm gonna say 2-1.
I'm gonna say 2-1 for Leeds, and for Newcastle. Ooh, no, I'm not gonna go as
Newcastle
wild.
are fighting, but they.
I'm not gonna go as wild. I'm gonna say 3-2.
Was that Newcastle 3-2?
Yeah.
It's another close one.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go. I can't be as wild. I'm just something in my head's like, nah, you can't be that optimistic. It's what the season's done to me.
Fair play. Well, I'm gonna say it'll either be Sunday or we'll do it live on the Saturday. So stay tuned for that on the weekend either way. And thank you for listening. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. Slap that bell.
Get on Twitch too.
Yeah, get yourselves on Twitch. If you're listening on any of the audio on demand services, then give us a little 5-star rating or whatever the equivalent is.
Or follow us.
We'll follow us and we'll see you next time.
It is goodbye from me. Thank you for listening.
Matt, done it.
Done it.